Like, I was watching a show the other day. Whoever the band was had digital amps, and then Lucas Nelson came up to play. He like brought his like a real amp up there.
Oh, he sounded
and
amazing.
I was like, oh yes,
Like he sounded amazing.
Yeah, it was like, oh, now I can hear the guitar. Show, I'll probably end up playing electric just on a couple songs, just so that people can be like, oh, he does that too. He's so talented.
So versatile.
Look at him, he's so talented.
Isn't that funny when people go, wait, you play acoustic and electric?
Yeah.
Like as if they're two totally different instruments.
Right.
I always think that's funny.
People are easily pleased. Right?
But when you're with Old Dominion, what are you playing through? Like, do you have real amps out?
Oh yeah, I can't.
You haven't moved over to the
no. I can't
Me
do
too.
It.
What's wrong with us? Why is everyone?
No, dude, it's not us. We are
We're what's right.
Yeah,
is the world. But have you tried any of that stuff? Like,
we have like our B rig where if we have to fly somewhere like quickly that we can't bring the whole gear. There's a Kemper that models like it's modeled my amp.
Yeah,
but it actually sounds fine. But I'm always surprised. I'm like, oh, that sounds good. And then by the end of the show, I'm like, I don't want to hear this anymore.
How are you hearing it though? Through monitors or ears?
Ears.
So you think the Kemper sounds worse through your ears than your amp does?
Yeah. It's just different.
It's just different.
And I don't, I haven't had time. I haven't like spent a whole lot of time dialing it in, but it's just a little more brittle. It doesn't quite have the power. But I mean, like I was watching a show the other day somewhere and the band had, whoever the band was had digital amps. And then Lucas Nelson came up to play and he like brought his like a real amp up there and just to sit in for like one song.
Oh, he sounded
and
amazing.
I was like, oh yes.
Like he sounded amazing.
Yeah. It was like, oh, now I can hear the guitar and it sounds awesome.
Isn't that funny? I was at a show recently and I was like, the guitars sound horrible. And then I was talking to them afterwards and it was all one of these modelers. Yeah. I don't know if I'll say the brand. No. Leave the brand name out of it.
You can't. I mean, it's just like, why would you do that to yourself? I mean, I guess it's easier for if you it's definitely lighter.
If you had the team to set up the rig though and do it, why would you not bring the stuff? Wait, so what do you play through? I feel like you've told me that. You've got,
on the road, it's a DC-30, matchless DC-30.
It's just one plugged in and
just one. I know. Honestly, I've had that amp for so long. I kind of want to get something that has a little more headroom in it. That thing breaks up a little too soon, so I'd like to get something that is a little cleaner. But I'm just not like a super gear nerd, so I'm like, this sounds fine.
Do you collect any of this stuff, or you're like, do you care about this stuff?
I've been starting to buy some bigger guitars for sure.
Like, what's a big guitar for you? Like what are you getting?
I just bought a 63 335 like a few months ago.
That's a real guitar.
That was like, I actually bought it from Rob McNally, who's the session guy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I just bought a 54 J45 like a few weeks ago or a couple months ago in Texas. I have a nice old Martin D18. I have I think a 61 Strat with a 63 neck that that guitar sits at home. It's kind of finicky, so I'll bring it in the studio, but it doesn't really, it's not working live.
Yeah. But do you collect these because you just like the fact that they're old and they're historic, or do you think they really sound like, does that 335 really sound incredible? I'm sure it does.
Yeah, it does. I mean, honestly, I have another 335 that I think it's, I don't know, maybe a 65. Like the 63 has the PAF pickups, which are very sought after.
Yeah. And do you like the way they sound, or are they almost thinner than you would think they would be?
Well, that guitar is actually a little darker than the 65 that I have that doesn't have PAFs in it. When I first brought the 63 home, I was playing it through a deluxe, and I was like, this thing sounds insane. Like, and it's a little dark on the road, but so I'll go back and forth. Like if at sound check, I like one over the other, I'll.
335.
Yeah, like for that day, yeah. I'll tune that one down and use it more. Like I'll use whichever one sounds better in the room that day. Yeah.
That's good to have, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like you're a Strat guy, right? Do you consider yourself a Strat guy, or just in the band?
That blue. I think just the band.
Yeah.
I think like in general, I'm more of a a Gibson guy. I have a Les Paul that they gave me. It's like one of those reissues, Honeyburst, like maybe it's a 60 or something. It is such a nice guitar. You know, a lot of times new guitars, I don't know, I don't really love them that much, but this Gibson is badass.
It's really good.
Yeah, exactly. Like going into the studio soon to record it, and I'm like, oh, what am I gonna play? Like I gotta think, you know, like we're not even in the studio, and I'm already like nervous about it. So I was just missing.
Wait, this is weird to me that you get nervous going into the studio. But I'm serious because I feel like you would be confident. But I hate going in the studio. Yeah. Like I feel like I'm not a session guy, but I'm not anything like when it comes to guitar. But I feel like I'm definitely not a session guy. But I feel like you would be comfortable in the studio.
I'm more comfortable now for sure. I mean, after, you know, the 6 records or whatever, like I'm confident that, you know, I think what helps sometimes is not playing at first, like thinking about what you want to play.
What do you mean?
Like if people are like playing and the vibe is going on, like instead of just like, I mean, sometimes it works, just kind of jamming along. Like if I'm like sing, like what do I sing a part? Like think about what it would be. Because sometimes if you're really an exceptional musician, you can do that simultaneously. You can like just be like, I want to do that. But you know, I'm not quite at that level. I mean, I am with certain parts, but you know, if you think of it and then you're like, okay, that's cool, and then you kind of chase after it.
You can figure out how to play.
Yeah. Sometimes that works better.